Hey everybody, this is Derek, and just was thinking about some things, having some thoughts. I'm getting ready to go back to Ghana, and someone asked me, or the question was, what do I feel is the difference, right? And the agenda, the idea that I have, my idea is basically to go try to build something that helps out, but also make me some cash. And and the question being like what do I see is the biggest difference or the biggest barrier to entry? And it made me realize why in America, what is really the biggest advantage you have when you here, right? And is one or two things. It's really one, you have the ability to use debt in a way where it's unimaginable in Africa, right? So the difference, or one of the main differences, is how debt is utilized. Because in Africa, there's no real debt. There's credit. Even borrowing, the interest rates on it is horrendous, right? To get a bank loan, you pay maybe 25%, sometimes higher, just on a bank loan. Versus if I borrow from the bank, yeah, I'm looking at best under 5%, at worst a little over. But once I go beyond 7%, that's hard money, right? We talking 9-10%. That's hard money. That's short term, right? But in Africa, in Ghana specifically, because I can't speak for the whole Africa, you don't really have access to that. So what it does is that you have to have capital to do anything, right? Versus here, right? I bought houses with 5% down, right? So I have a house that is now it's worth 300,000, but when I bought it, it was 220. I came out of pocket for that 12,000, and I bought the house, lived in it, moved, rented the house. Somebody's renting it, paying the mortgage. I profit maybe $500 a month on that house, and the value is now maybe 280 to 300, depending on the time of the month it is. But it is generating money without me having to pour out capital, right? And then here's the Ghana example. My mother has built houses, and to build her first house, I don't know how long it took. Let's say 20 years, right? High-end house, obviously, is in an amazing neighborhood, right? If you valued it like it's compared to the US, it'll be $1 million house, $1 million neighborhood, hands down, right? But she had to pay cash to build from the ground up, and it took a long time, right? And you typically don't have access to that, even here, right? Most of us don't have capital like that. How you gonna buy your house? You got 300,000 cash? No one really has that, right? And you see how debt has been historically used to literally mobilize white people to get ahead of black people, right? Back in the days, redlining, black people couldn't get mortgages, right? So or you couldn't get mortgages in certain areas. That's debt being weaponized, right? You couldn't borrow money to fix your house in certain areas, in certain neighborhoods, in certain ghettos, quote unquote. So debt has always been used as a way to move people forward. So now when we hear, and sometimes people, I'm saying, build business credit, right? Fix your personal credit too, right? Don't do one without the other if you could help it. But because personal credit, you need it to do things, right? You need it to buy a house, you need it to get a car, right? But it takes a while to build. But business credit, you could jump on it right now. So when I say that, is properly using debt. So it made me wonder. I said, let me dig into this a bit more, because the issue, going back to Africa, like I'm buying land now. That's capital intensive, right? I want to start a business. That's capital intensive. There's no way for me to use that. Wow, here, I could start my business with $500. I could use another $500 to start building business credit. In 30 days, I could have 10,000 in business credit. I could use that to slowly move my business forward, right? I could pay for marketing. I could pay for merchandise. I could pay for supplies. So these are the different values. And then it made me think like, okay, how deep does this go, right? China's rise to power is based on debt. China has been utilizing debt to move its people forward, right? And if you really, really start digesting how does this country work, you always hear like this country's in debt, right? America borrows money to take care of America. And then I'll go even further. Who's the biggest companies in the world? I looked up Amazon, and one of the richest company in the world. Amazon is literally they borrow money to buy Whole Foods. Right? I'm looking through everything now, and you start seeing that Apple has $8 billion in debt, but they have 40 billion in cash. This is Apple, right? So even though they have the capital, they're still utilizing credit to run their business. And then it made me think about like poor people or middle class people, how we use that, right? We use that to buy things. We use that to buy cars, right? We use that to buy bags, to buy sneakers, to buy all sorts of liabilities. And it made me realize that we've really, really have to, one, try to get out the mindset that keep us in the same situation, right? Because you can't raise a nation if nobody's applying things in a way where it really benefits us as a whole. And the first point to that is to use that properly, like use it properly to build, right? To build something that brings an income, but also to use it in a way where you could grow exponentially. So here's the example. The property that I have now, I have equity, right? I'm gonna take a line of credit on it, have it. When the market implodes, and market would implode, right? I use that to buy more buildings, more properties. And it's all the different ways that you use the tools available to you. And it's also how, the government or the people been using the weapon of debt against us. So we are of the mindset now. We have it now. We kind of understand what needs to be done. So we need to properly use it. I know a few people starting businesses right now, and they're literally trying to scramble up to get 5,000 to get equipment, to get supplies. And I'm explaining to them that you could just spend 1,000 and utilize credit. And one person response was like, "Oh, D, I don't really want to be in that kind of position. I don't." And I'm like, fine, Dave Ramsey said that don't use that ever. Just pay cash for everything. But paying cash for everything limits you. It limits you completely. So you really, really have to understand and utilize that to grow any endeavor that you are trying to grow. And you use it, I want to say responsibly, but you want to use it. When this COVID thing happened, you've seen how many companies had to borrow money, right? So does it mean they have a bad business model? Does Amazon have a bad business model? Does Apple have a bad business model? No, they have a working system, but the working theory at the highest level of business seems to be, do not use your cash. Use other people's money to grow everything. Once again, the highest level of business, the top 10 Wall Street businesses that you can name are using debt to operate their business. They're not using the capital that come in. Only us that's starting on a bottom sort of just think we have to apply all the capital we got to grow. And it's what I've been trying to teach my partners and the people that I guide is you have to utilize debt. Use it properly, pay it, grow it, use it some more so that you could scale exponentially, like where there's no stopping how fast and how far you can go. And that's the power of that. And let me know if you have any ideas, or did I miss anything, or why you shouldn't use that. Comment down, or send me a message. Let me know your thoughts. And if you want to get started, or your business needs some money, or even if you want to start trying to fix your credit, schedule a free call. Let's talk. Let's see how we can help you out, get you to the next level.